It is Friday and I am so excited about it. Let's get started. Hey folks, Drunken Homemaker here, and today's video is about being in search of balance. It is about balance and how to hopefully reach some semblance of balance, work, life, creative work, life, whatever you're trying to, whatever sort of balance you're after. The reason I wanted to make this video was because I feel like I've been struggling with this. I am finally at a point where I'm feeling better about it, but I definitely feel like it's an uphill struggle for me sometimes. So that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I feel like it's important and I feel like I can't be the only one that's struggling with this. So if you're subscribed, if you follow me at all, you probably realize that there was about a month to 2 months that I wasn't posting anything, and there's a very good reason for that. I was doing this process where I was scheduling everything, like from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed at night. Everything was getting scheduled. And it was a good thing in that I was very productive. I sort of used that 5 second rule, the Mel Robbins 5 second rule, every time I got an alert. I had sort of reminders set to my Fitbit. So whenever anything was scheduled, I would get a little buzz. I would get a reminder, you know, jump in the shower, do your makeup, blah, 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 whatever it was. I would get a reminder and I would sort of 5 second rule myself and be like, okay, you have to do this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the good part of it was that I was productive during that time. I started to experience this phenomenon known as time famine, which is for the people who sort of overschedule themselves or the people that schedule every second of their lives. This might sound familiar to you. So one of the things that I was experiencing was that by the time that I got to bedtime at night, I felt so overwhelmed because every single second of my day had been accounted for, and I felt overwhelmed because I felt like I didn't have enough time. And that's a phenomenon known as time famine. That feeling that you just, no matter how you move things around, no matter how you schedule things, because every second of your day is sort of accounted for, you feel like you just don't have enough of it. And I think it sort of goes into that scarcity mindset. It sort of like melds in with that. I don't know how to explain it better than that, but I know that I was experiencing that, and I know that it was taking an effect on my body. So I definitely was very stressed out during that time, was feeling like, and was also setting unrealistic deadlines for myself. I feel like as a culture, we measure people's worth by their productivity. And that's a very problematic and also toxic way to view it, because we are not what we produce. We are not the equivalent of, we are not the sum of what we contribute, how much we are able to produce. That is not what defines us as people. And that was something that I had to come to terms with, and I had to come to terms with because of events that happened in my life. It was nothing as traumatic as it's probably sounding right now, but I want to talk about it because I do think, like in retrospect, the whole hindsight is 2020. I believe that. I think that in the moment I was so upset and just so like, why is this happening to me? But then as time went on, I was like, oh, this is why, because I have to learn this lesson, because I have to grow from this experience. So long story short, a few weeks back, I threw out my back to the point where I couldn't get out of bed. I physically couldn't get out of bed, and that had never happened to me before. It was so sad the way it happened too. I literally was stretching and then felt my back just go and I just couldn't move. It was painful to move, and it was agonizing pain. And when I tried to get out of bed, I was like, if I would move a certain way, it was just this awful shooting, awful, like my back was seizing up, and it was terrible. It was awful. So from that, I was sort of like, oh, okay, I guess I'll, and this is like when I'm like in full productivity mode, full on, like, you got to do this, got to do that, got to get everything done. And it sort of forced me to take a step back. It was literally like for the first 3 days, I was like walking around like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, to the point where people at work were like, "What's wrong with you?" It was so awful. And then also those first 3 days, all I could focus on was the pain. It was so painful that I couldn't think about anything else. I couldn't think about the stuff that I had to get done. I didn't couldn't think about my to-do list. So what came from that was that I was sort of forced to take a step back and sit down and reevaluate things. And also, I was just forced to take a break. I had videos that were like ready to go, prepackaged, that all I had to do was edit, but I couldn't sit in one place long enough. I would be in pain if I sat too long and stuff like that. So I literally had to take a break. I was forced to take a break regardless of what I wanted. I started doing a lot of reading and I started sort of looking into the best ways to sort of be productive, like when I was feeling better. And that's when I ran across Time Famine. And I thought that that was so interesting that that sort of came up and popped up while I was sort of in the middle of experiencing it. So I do feel like the whole back thing was my body's way of telling me that it was too much, too fast at one time, and that I needed to slow down. So where I'm at now with that is, and just to give you an idea of like the stuff that I was dealing with, I work a 9 to 5. I have 2 kids. I'm trying to set up a regular schedule on YouTube where I am creating content and posting regularly, and, struggling to do so. I'm also a playwright. So I'm also, I've started this play that I have like 40 solid pages of, and all of that just came to like a just complete stop. All of it stopped at the same time. And I felt really guilty about it. And it just kind of like, it's such a waste of time because you feel terrible about not getting it done. You feel terrible about not being able to do it, but also you can't physically do it, right? So I think I'm in a much better place about it now. I think that I'm feeling like I have to be realistic and set realistic goals for myself and not schedule myself from like 8:30 in the morning till 9:30 at night. No second unaccounted for. It just doesn't fit in with where I am in my life with all the things I have going on. So that being said, I've sort of created a lot more realistic goals for myself now. I am trying to lessen the workload on myself and be a lot more forgiving to myself because the reality is that, and here's the mind-boggling thing, is like I do a lot. I have a lot of responsibility on me all the time. And it's just unrealistic to sort of tell myself, you're going to write a play in a month. You're going to post 50 videos this year. It's unrealistic. And I think I'm a lot more accepting of that and trying to create more realistic goals for myself, but also doing it in a way that's conducive to good work that's productive where I'm still taking care of myself. It's always, and that's why I wanted to talk about balance today, because it's always something that I'm in search of, which is ironic because I'm a Libra, the scales. But it's always something that I'm after, and it's not something that I feel like I figured out yet. It's still something that I struggle with. It's still something that I would like to be able to say, I have such a great work-life balance. I have such a great my creative life, my creative work versus my work that I use to pay the bills. And there are some mornings where I wake up and I am like, it would be really nice to be able to do the things that I want to do to support my creative work, but I have to go to my regular work today. So I have to put that stuff ahead. It's just like that never ending struggle for those of us that either have whatever you call it, even if it's a side hustle or if it's your dream job that you're working towards. For me, it's a dream job. It's something that I want to do full time that I can't do full time right now. So there's a few things that I'm trying to do to shift how I do things so that it's more conducive to good work, so that I'm taking care of myself, but also I'm trying to be more realistic and not measure my worth based on my productivity, because I do a lot. Even when I'm not doing a lot, even when I'm not posting regularly, even when I'm not writing a play a month, or, I think I just have to be, and I say this to everyone watching too, it's like, don't put that worth on what you're producing. Put that worth in who you are as a person, your value system, if you're a good person or not. I think that's more important. I have 2 small children that I want to send into the world being good people. I want them to care about our planet. I want them to care about other people. And I think that that should be a priority and that should have value. But in our world, it doesn't really. And that's kind of disappointing. That's something I was talking about the other day. I'm kind of going off on a tangent. But yeah, I think it's all kind of connected for me. And I'm sorry if I seem like low energy. I'm not at all. I think I'm just really really pensive about this stuff. I'm really like trying to unpack it for myself because I'm still processing it. But there's a lot of stuff that this is like the year. There's a lot of stuff that I'm prioritizing this year because this is the year of taking care of myself so that I could be a good enough person or I can, not a good enough person. I am a good enough person. You are enough. There's a lot of things that I'm focusing that are self-care related. I don't mean like taking bubble baths, doing face masks, anything like that, even though that stuff is important and it has a time and a place. I'm talking about the inner work, going to a dance class because I want to go to a dance class, not because it'll make me a better artist. It's because I want to I want to express myself creatively that way. Or, singing because I feel like it, not because I'm rehearsing or because I'm trying to prepare for something. I say all this to say that if you are someone who is in search of balance, you are not alone by any means. It's something that I am still trying to figure out. It's something that I wish I had a better grasp on. And it's something that I just, I care about so deeply. I wish I woke up in the morning and didn't feel overwhelmed all the time. I wish I woke up in the morning and said, I have time to do this. There's enough time for this. And overscheduling myself didn't work. So I'm trying to now find that balance somewhere else. So I say that to say, how do you balance? How do you create balance in your life when you're feeling overwhelmed? How do you make time for the stuff that you love to do and the stuff that you have to do? Because I don't think I've gotten it yet. I keep thinking of the Oprah quote, you can have it all, just not all at the same time. And I really relate to that. I am definitely feeling like my life is very fulfilling in many, many ways, but there's so much that I want. And I'm still trying to figure out how to be grateful for what I have and what I have accomplished and the things that are important to me, how to be excited about that stuff while still going after my dreams in a way that's not destructive and is in a way that's not, saying that thing where you're like, I will be happy when. It's like, no, I'm happy right now. I'm good with what I've got. I've got a really great family. I have a supportive husband. I have two really great kids. I have a house, that needs a ton of work this year, but it's mine. Yeah, and just being grateful for all of that. So I guess this video is kind of a weird one because I don't think that I offer as many tips, but I really genuinely want you to know that this is a journey for me and that I want to go on this journey with you and that I want to hear what you have to say about it and what you're feeling about it because I think it's important to have that support system and have somebody to tell like, yeah, how do you do this? Like how I don't have anything other than I don't have anything to offer other than I don't think that overscheduling yourself and making yourself feel bad because you didn't accomplish as much as you would have liked to accomplish is the way to go. And I'm still figuring out what the other side of that looks like. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted. I'm noticing actually, it's really funny because I love doing these productivity videos and I love talking about my process and what I'm struggling with, et cetera, et cetera. But what I'm noticing is actually the plant videos are getting a lot of attention, which is really great because I sort of started this channel in the hopes that the universe would sort of guide me because I have so many interests. I have so many things that I'm passionate about. I love to sing. I love to dance. I love to write. I love plants. I love gardening. I love it all. So what's interesting is that already I'm seeing a trend where the most watched videos are actually my plant videos. So I'm actually probably going to be focusing more on in that direction. I might be refocusing, but click like if you like these type of videos, if you get something out of just hearing somebody like going through the same struggles that you're going through, and if it helps you to, the terms like time famine, which I totally didn't know about until a few weeks ago, and that idea of maybe productivity isn't the right word. Maybe it's going after your dream, or maybe it's, I don't know, but I feel like this channel for me is evolving and it's a great thing. Like, I think it's good. It's just not what I thought it was going to be, but that's not a bad thing. I think the universe has my best interest at heart and is leading me in the direction that I need to go, which is apparently plants. And I don't have a problem with that. So I just wanted to sort of mention that at the end because I do think that this is going to be kind of heading in that direction. While I will probably still make these videos because I still feel very passionately about seeing how the sausage is made, right? And realizing that even the people who look like they have it all together on Instagram or on YouTube or wherever you consume your social media, Facebook, right? That's one. Even those people are struggling. They might not post about it. It might not be reflected in their Instagram feed, but everyone struggles and the thing is I tend to really, really watch the people who struggle quietly, because sometimes you don't need to advertise that everything is like, the sky is falling or anything like that for it to be valid. You're just trying to figure it out and kind of go through the motions. But this is something that it's not necessarily like, I don't do this to be attention seeking. I don't do it because it's self gratifying for me. I feel like I haven't seen people talk about the struggle and I wanted to see that because I love to hear about how people get over the hump, what is their morning routine? What do they do? What do they do when they wake up in the morning? How do they stay, productive? How do they go after their dreams without sacrificing health or self-care or mental health, whatever it is. So I'm going to keep making videos like that. That's a very long-winded way of saying that, by the way. If you like content like this, give it a like, because I really will start phasing it out. If it's not something that my viewers want to see, I'm not going to do it. That's same because it's self-gratifying at that point. Please make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notified when I post a video. And thank you so much for coming on this journey with me, and I will see you next week. And if I don't, that's fine too, because I'm on a journey.